If you're a fan of sailing yachts, you are going to love this video. Every time I mention sustainability in one of my videos, I get comments from viewers saying, actually, if you want to be sustainable in yachting, you should really have a sailing yacht. And of course, there's a lot of truth in what these viewers say. The industry right now has a lot of exciting sailing yacht projects on the go. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about just some of them. And at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you about something you may have been missing out on. If you watched my recent video about radical superyacht concepts, you'll have seen that lots of designers and shipyards are focusing their efforts on new sailing yachts. So I thought we'd take a closer look at some of the sailing yachts that have been breaking the mold over the past few years as more owners opt for sail over motor. Of course, there have been some major shakers in the sailing yacht sector. Just take a look at the 143-metre sailing yacht A from Nobbiskrug. Though a lot of people debate whether she actually belongs to the sailing yacht category at all. And then there's Oceanco's 107-metre Black Pearl, and the not too dissimilar 88-metre Maltese Falcon from Perini Navi, arguably the first super sailing yacht. Interestingly, the Italian shipyard Perini Navi, which was famed for its sailing yachts, went bankrupt in 2021, but has since been rescued by the Italian Sea Group after it was won at auction for €80 million back in December of 2021. The yard has now announced collaborations with well-known yacht designer Malcolm McCone for a 50-metre plus Ketch series, as well as announcing the construction of 3 47-metre sailing yachts. So while everyone thought the shipyard had died, it looks like we'll be seeing a new generation of Perinis hitting the water in coming years. Whether they will match the prowess of their predecessors on the regatta circuit, we'll have to wait and see. The largest new superyacht that we've seen in recent years is the huge 127-metre Oceanco schooner Y721. First sighted in early 2022, the yacht's masts have now been stepped at the Dutch shipyard, and she's expected to be heading for sea trials in early January. Now, details of this huge yacht are still unclear, but from her exterior lines and her rig, the owners evidently opted for a more traditional look than some of the more radical super sailing yachts that we've seen before her. While there are always major outliers, with the big shipyards venturing into the sailing sector for one-off projects, the main portion of the market comes from a few sailing yacht specialists, namely Royal Houseman, Swan, Southern Wind and Baltic. These 4 yards make up the majority of yachts launched alongside the Dutch shipyard Vitters, and Royal Houseman is probably the oldest name in the game. Based in the Netherlands, the shipyard's famed for both its performance racing yachts like the 58-metre Ngoni, as well as the spirit of tradition yachts that match cruising comfort with performance like 56-metre Aquarius. Houseman brings a unique offering to the table when it comes to innovation, as it shares its heritage with the carbon fibre specialists Rondal. These two companies work side by side and are famed for coming up with unique solutions to issues like tension and hull stability. The yard's currently busy building a secretive 85-metre racing sloop called Project 410, and she'll be the largest single-masted superyacht in the world when she's launched in 2026. All we know about her at the moment is that the exterior from Wetzel's brown is set to be iconic. Definitely one to look out for. Well, before we move on to a shipyard whose superyachts I have followed and covered on this YouTube channel, let me just take a moment to say a very big thank you to Superyacht Times. For a motor yacht man such as myself, it's great to have a media company who has a religious zeal for being up to date with accurate information, feeding me with images and information that I can then pass on to you. And because I'm so thankful to them, I'll put in a link to one of their videos at the end of this video, and also a link to their website in the description. The Finland-based shipyard Nautas Swan is a well-known name in the performance and cruising worlds, and over the past 2 years, they've had 2 particularly radical yachts hit the water. The first, and definitely the most recognisable, is the 45-metre Scorpius, which made a massive splash, taking home the Fastnet only a few months after its launch. Designed by Juan K, the black and yellow super sailor has been built completely for speed and is expected to bag some more titles in the coming season. The second is another design from the Juan K studio, the new 24-metre Club Swan 80. Taking over the reins from long-time Swan design partner Herman Freres, Juan K has stripped the yacht right back, with interiors that look like they belong in a spaceship. She has a canting keel and a retractable bowsprit and is a racer through and through. The first model hit the water this summer and belongs to the Italian designer Loro Piana, who has had regatta-winning racing yachts called My Song for over 2 decades. The South African shipyard Southern Wind has also had a busy year, launching 2 yachts over 30 metres and unveiling its new smart custom concept. One of the coolest things about Southern Wind is that many of the owners are truly passionate oceanic sailors, and a lot of them actually join their yacht's first passage all the way from Cape Town to the Canary Islands. That's definitely one way to test out your new yacht. Finally, we can take a look at a bit of a newcomer to the sector, and that's the German yacht builder Yachts. Founded only a few years ago by yacht designer Michael Schmidt, Yachts has been carving out a bigger and bigger space for itself over the past 2 years. In Cannes, the yard unveiled a new model, the 30-metre Y9 Performance Cruiser. And then in Monaco, only a few weeks later, the shipyard displayed the first hull of the series, Bella. Designed by Schmidt and Bill Tripp, this champagne-coloured yacht saw a lot of footfall during the show and has definitely created a bit of a buzz in the sector. According to Superyacht Times IQ, 2022 is one of the first years in a decade where there's been a sizable increase in the number of sailing yachts sold and in build. So even though it's a small portion of the market, the tide does seem to be finally turning towards sale. Now, as I mentioned in last week's vlog, my team and I have just come back from an insane travel schedule just prior to Christmas when we filmed some incredible yachts. When we go on these trips, we have a lot of fun, and I tend to post quite a few Instagram stories. So if you don't already follow Yachts for Sale on Instagram, here's a few of the things that you may have missed out on. As I braved some pretty rough weather in the Sports Fisher Pompina, discovered that Max has a famous ancestor, watched a video about a yacht called Lionshare that I filmed with Superyacht captain at the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show on Lionshare in St Martin, and got very emotional about swimming with sharks for the first time. I've just come back from swimming with the sharks and I'm back on board unbridled. I can say that outside of holding my newborn babies in my arms, which nothing can compare with, that was the most awe-inspiring, incredible experience of my life. I hope that when we publish the video of Unbridled, we can do some justice to the experience, some justice to the experience also of chartering Unbridled and of being with people who you have trust in, who can take you in with the sharks into the ocean. That's all to look out for in the finished video, which will be published, I hope, either on the last day of this year or on January the 1st of next year. Look out for it. It will be incredible. Actually, that experience of swimming with sharks was absolutely unforgettable and sensational, and so I very much wanted to produce a video that would be equally sensational. That video is already sitting on the Yachts for Charter channel. If you haven't already seen it, do make an effort to go on the Yachts for Charter channel, subscribe, click on the bell icon, but do watch that video. I'm going to put a link to it at the end of this video. And also, don't forget, if you have been missing out on some of those great Instagram stories, there's going to be a lot more to come in the coming weeks. So follow me on Instagram. Oh, that also is in the description below.